there's men that constantly cheat on wife, woman, well, her girlfriend or whatever, live with them, right? But they will not leave. They will express how much they have so many issues in their relationship. It's toxic. They will not leave. They will rather keep you
So
there
let me
and cheat
explain
cheat on the side, get what they need done.
Right. Yo,
Get what they need done, but then they're
Mason,
gonna come home. Men, most
Mason,
men
touch
don't
that
leave.
real quick, and then I gotta respond to that real quick.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mason.
because the thing is like you're right in that a lot of men don't leave because they don't want to start over. But that's kind of where the facts really end with that statement. Right. Only because it's like it's not just we don't want to leave because it's inconvenient to us. We thinking about
convenient for y'all.
Well, yeah, it would be convenient for a man to just bounce and go for a pack of cigarettes and never come back. What I'm saying is like a lot of times men stay because they're thinking about how inconvenient it would make everybody else for everybody else in their house. Right. Or if he's the bread, not even if he's the breadwinner, I won't even put it on that, but just whatever his contribution is to that household, which is normally pretty significant on average. If that's suddenly not there, then all of a sudden, even if he's not happy with this woman, he probably cares about her basic necessities and stuff like that. And so a lot of times they end up staying because they don't want to disrupt the norm. And a lot of times they got kids involved, and there's a lot of different variables. It's not just because
that's what I wanted to touch on. Most men stay because we have a sense of duty. You know, and that duty, and all the men on the panel could attest to this. That sense of duty goes above our feelings.
Beyond,
we don't care. Like, oh, I'm not happy, and I've been unhappy for the past year. You guys will run off the emotions of that and say, "Oh well, I'm not happy." Now you got your whole sister circle telling you, "Girl, just leave, girl.
Just leave, yeah."
So you leave,
bro. I literally said,
so why do you guys think that she should stay? Right?
Well, how many? What?
Why do you guys think if she's not happy? Why
the same way the dude,
the same way we stay, the same way we would stay.
But that's your choice.
You guys can leave, but
that's your choice.
So who's more loyal? You said women are loyal. Who's more loyal?
Who's more loyal?
Who's more loyal? Who's more loyal? If you said because you leave because you're not happy.
You just a woman. I can't tell you how many times. Like I told y'all on another.
No, I'm not contradicting because I don't think if a person is not happy or
remember, Charlotte
should stay in a relationship.
Remember,
so
Charlotte,
everybody will be not together then because the moment you're not happy, leave.
No, I'm not talking about. Hold on, I'm not talking about just like the surface unhappiness, like relationships are up. Hold on, relationships are up and down. However, there are going to be times you're happy and there are going to be times you're not happy. I'm not saying soon as you're unhappy to leave the relationship. Like I said, women to stick with a person, she'll go through so much with a guy and also complain about what the issues are so that he can fix it. Majority of the time, like husband said, it doesn't matter what a woman feels when it comes to men. So they'll just ignore how she's feeling and not understanding that is her breaking point. She's been with you for 8 years. She's been with you for 5 years and you haven't got it right yet. So why should she stay?
I can
because you made a commitment to God. You said in front of God that you were going to stay.
I back Charlotte on
and
that.
This is why a lot of course. But if you make a
commitment
in front of God and say, hey, listen, look, it's through richer for poor, sickness and health. Yeah. That comes with, I'm not happy. Like Michelle Obama said, she wasn't happy with Obama for 10 years. 10 years.
That's her choice.
Right, it's her choice. Y'all can't make these choices.
Absolutely not. So wait. So y'all know how we hear these stories or whatever. Let's say you got a homegirl or homeboy or whatever that is married, right? And they're constantly having some type of issue in their marriage. When y'all know how we hear them stories and be like, oh, well, they just stupid, man. Well, they should have been ended that relationship, or he's dumb, or she's just as stupid. So when do we draw the line for where that is, where it's like you really are being
abuse,
stupid and you
infidelity,
really need to leave?
abuse, infidelity. Even if it's an emotional abuse.
So a lot of times,
but see, Mingo,
so a lot of times, all the unmarried people on here, real quick. A lot of times when
that was a shot.
Right. So
I know it was.
When you go through marriage counseling, most of the time, if the counselor has any wits about them, they'll ask you to ask yourself this question. If my significant other does not change anything about themselves for the next 5 years, will I want to still be in this relationship? And if your answer to that is no, then you don't need to get married. As simple as that. And the reality of it is that I've had, and I told y'all about some of my history on the last podcast about how I used to be the doggy bag dude and all that other stuff. Most of the women that I was dealing with that had significant others, it was like, well, he didn't do X, Y, and Z, or he not this, or blah, 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 blah. Like, dude never hit him or anything like that. It was just, he was not in their relationship performing to their satisfaction. And so they felt that justified whatever extracurricular shit they had going on.
Right.
And though that might be not some of the women on this panel, that is, my sample pool is large enough to tell you that is a vast majority of women. And I'm not talking about just that I've had direct experience with. Ask any dude on this panel. He could tell you a story or two. And so the reality of it is y'all just get to be like, you know what? It's Tuesday and I'm not satisfied. So I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, do whatever.
I was gonna, go ahead, T.
Oh yeah, just real quick. No, I was gonna say, if you're in premarital counseling, this is obviously before marriage. So if there are things that, you said you ask yourself this question, if they don't change, for the next like 5 years, will you be happy? If they're doing things that are considered for whomever on either side, just say for the woman's sake, doing things that she would consider to be a deal breaker, why would you go into marriage thinking that you're going to change anyone, which a lot of people do. A lot of people do. They're like, oh, when we get married, it'll change, baby. When you get married, whatever issues you have are going to be times 10.
Right. Well, because you don't know what 10 years in feels like until you're 10 years in. Period. Like, that's just the reality of it. So what I mean by that is, it's like a lot of times we don't realize that something is an issue until we're at that juncture, because that's just how he is. It's just a thing. It's not really that serious, because you didn't have to deal with it every day, day in and day out for 8 years straight. And now all of a sudden, what was just this cute little idiosyncrasy that he had at one point is now driving you freaking insane. And so that's why you whatever is like that little thing that just kind of irks you, but it's no big deal. Blow that up times 10 and picture yourself with nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask Mingo, because before he had dropped off, I was asking him basically like to what extent, and Mason, that was a good answer as well. That's facts. But I was saying, like, basically, where's the breaking point? Like, where's drawing the line? And he was saying infidelity, abuse, or whatever. So did you say emotional abuse, or did you just say abuse? I think
emotional abuse. So if it's emotional abuse, physical abuse, infidelity, those are grounds to even get divorced.
But how do we gauge it, especially if it's something like
it's very easy to gauge it. If I'm calling you a bitch every day, right? If I'm making you feel, if I'm making you feel beneath me, as if your opinions, your thoughts, none of that matter. If I'm outside every day, I don't care anything about what goes on. I'm not providing for the family. I'm sitting there saying the duties of a man I'm not giving you. That's emotional abuse.
So, but that's more on an extreme level, like because that's crazy.
But that's common. That's common.
My husband said we should stay.
But what? Yeah, husband said we should stay. But I'm saying I want to get down. I'm trying to get down to like not like extreme cases as far as like literally calling me a B. That's just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
But that happens more often than you know.
It does. Mm-hmm. That's definitely just out of bounds. But I'm just saying, as far as like, what if it's a different form of emotional abuse, right?
Let's give me an example of that.
Feelings.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, invalidating your feelings, emotional neglect, because you don't think it's that serious. You're
but
not.
that was all part of what I said, though.
But as far as emotional neglect,
yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. So how do we? So where do we like draw the line, though?
When a person is not willing to try to change. Yeah. If a person is saying, you know what, this is who I am, and you're gonna deal with it, and I refuse to give you what you need out of this marriage, then that's where you draw the line. But so long as a person is considering you, and he might not be perfect at what you're doing, is that a reason to leave? No. And this is the problem. When a person, this is why divorce is so high in America, because it's a bunch of feelings, and there's no logic in marriage anymore. There's no commitment in marriage anymore. And the moment I feel some type of way, I'm out. If I'm mad for a year and a half, to my speedometer, I'm gone. When in reality, when in reality you made a commitment to the person, marriage is not just you and the person, right? Marriage is between you, the person, God, your family. It's the children, everyone. So it's so much. This is why I created this channel. Right? The whole point of it is to bring awareness to this point. Why we leave each other for the most minute things and we just can't figure it out. And it's all about, well, I'm not happy. And I'll tell every man, the worst words you can hear from a woman is, I'm not happy. When you start hearing that, prepare yourself for a divorce.
So, or just fix it. Would you say that?
How can I fix it? You gotta find happiness within you.
It's not my job.
It's not my job to make you happy. You have to be happy.
Right. Yeah, but I'm sorry.
So when you said, Mingo, when you said when a man is not, because Miranda was asking, how do you where do you draw the line with that? And you were saying when a man is just willing to not give you any of that, right? When you bring it to his attention, he just kind of ignores it. Would you say that if the woman is experiencing all of the things that Miranda mentioned, and she brings it to her husband's attention, and maybe she throws in there, hey, let's try going to couples counseling. Would you say that him denying that is a form of him still neglecting her and refusing to possibly be able to fix the situation, rectify all of it?
Yeah.
I would say, let's say he says, no, I don't want to go to couples counseling, but he doesn't come up with another solution. Mm-hmm. So maybe some men are not into counseling. Well, give me another solution then. Give me something that shows me that you are willing to go half and half with me on this issue, right? And if you can't come up with that, then it's showing me you're not trying. You're not putting in the effort to be married.
Yeah.
Right.
And would you say it's the same thing when they just don't change after time? Like you keep bringing it up, and it's
if he's not willing to give, then how could you? What are you gonna get? Everyone is with each other to get something out of it. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. Ain't nobody in marriages for love.
I want to ask that.
And depending on the situation too, if they continuous, if you're telling them how you feel about it and they're legit not even budging or not even attempting to make you feel better about it or whatever, then that can get over into emotional abuse.
Yeah. Right. So let me add to what Mingo said, right? You did say it's a woman's responsibility to make herself happy, right?
Yep. Right.
That is correct. But when you're in a relationship, right, there's a job of a man as well to contribute to that happiness and that peace.
No matter what I do as a man, no matter what I do, if you don't want to be happy, you won't be happy. You have to find happiness within. All of us.
No, but what she's saying, your presence, and your actions contribute to that.
That gives to what I just said. Me trying, right? So if I'm not trying, I'm not putting forth effort.
Let me ask you a question.
Then I'm not going to make.
If he comes to you, because you said that's the detriment, the relationship is about to be over. I don't think so. But what if she comes to you and said, "Babe, I'm not happy." You're not gonna rebuttal that and say, "Well, why aren't you happy?"
I ask why. Why aren't you happy?
Yeah. So would you make the adjustment if it's something that you're contributing to her unhappiness?
I would hear her out. Now, to sit down and say that if you're like, yo, I'm not happy because let's say something that's within my control. I need you to do a little extra things around the house. Okay, if that's going to be the thing that's can make you happy, I'll make a conscious effort to do that.
Right, but that's
I can't control your overall happiness.
Right.
And usually when a woman says that, usually she's just not happy with you. Like, there's really nothing you can do about that.
But what's the best alternative though? Her being by herself and unprotected?
No, I don't think that's the better alternative. I think the better alternative would be them having that conversation. What's not making her happy?
And if he's not doing what, like you said, if he's not doing what you need from him to make you happy, is the better alternative being by yourself?
Unfortunately, it's not. But unfortunately,
that's why the divorce rate is so high.
So my thing is, it's okay to live the rest of your life, the rest of your years alone, as opposed to being with someone who does. Again, I go back to that 90%. 90%, he does everything correct. He provides for you. He's a prophet for you. He just doesn't do that one piece that you don't like, and it makes you unhappy.
Professor, you got to understand, women, like you guys said, women are emotional creatures.
Right. So,
and you guys are logic. So our job is to fulfill that. Make sure you have your peace, right? Make sure you feel like we're there emotionally, physically, anything that you need as a man. So it's like it has to be some sort of compromise when adjusting to your woman. If you understand that she's an emotional creature, you have to somewhat adjust. If it's not something where it's you changing who you are as a person, like try to make the effort a little bit.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Let's say that you have 2 kids. You're leaving now, and those kids are gonna grow up in a fatherless household?
You gotta understand, when it comes to women, sometimes emotionally, because women are emotional creatures, it eats them up inside. It kills them. This is what cancer rates are so high. This is why people having certain ailments, because they're not happy. And a lot of people don't understand that when you're unhappy, that contributes to health issues. So it takes for you. Hold on, let me finish my sentence. If it takes for you to have to leave in order for you to become healthy physically and emotionally, you have to leave, because at the end of the day, if you stay, you're gonna die. Who's gonna be there to take care of the kids?
So if you're leaving a marriage based on happiness, then you have no deal of being married. Period. Like you should.
No, it's not based on happiness.
Because let me finish now. Hold on. Because in a marriage, there's going to be moments where either of you are going to have moments when you're not happy. So the whole point is, if you're in a marriage solely on that, then you need not be in a marriage, because you know that there's going to be some things that you have to fight through, that you're going to have to communicate through, that you're going to have to, before it even gets to the desolation.
Right, but this is what I said already. I already said that.
Yeah.
With a woman is not going to leave right then and there because she's not happy. It takes years for her to say, you know what, this is not working. I'm dying inside. I'm dying emotionally. I'm dying physically. I'm dying mentally. That's when she says, you know what, let me get the hell up and let me get out before these kids don't have a mother. It doesn't take, like, yes, you get in a marriage for everything, for better or worse, sickness, But if that person is not doing their part, what are you going to do?
But how are you to determine how long that worst moment is? You have to
determine it. You will have to determine.
But my thing is, so is this for better or worse? So then that means that there can be better moments. There can be, like, you're happy. You made that commitment.
That's what I said.
You made that commitment when you took those vows. So then, the whole fact of leaving because you're not happy, I just don't agree with that.
Right.
I think what Charlotte is saying is that there's extremes that come with that, as far as what's going.
But we already established that is not the emotional abuse. We already established that, right?
Yeah, we're saying it's not.
But she's saying
you're not happy.
She's saying as long as you stick it out, the longer you stick it out and you're unhappy and all these other things are going on, you can literally get physically sick, is what she's saying. And she's saying that because you sticking it out for better or worse, you're gonna stick it out for better or worse and be on your deathbed because you're trying to fight through something that you're clearly weak on.
So Eddie, let me ask.
I think just trying to discredit what I'm saying, but instead of
no, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. My thing is,
I've already said, you're in a marriage for better or worse, right? There are gonna be good days, there are gonna be bad days. I've already said that from the beginning of time.
Okay.
But when it comes to a person's health, that's the only thing you don't have no choice but to leave.
But then that will be emotional abuse. Then if you talking about health,
how much people are dying because they're not happy?
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Who's pulling those numbers?
She's not
because y'all are saying like, yo, it's detrimental to where a woman's gonna die and leave.
But you guys have to understand, this is what cancer stems from. Like, I study this stuff. Like, I'm an herbalist. Like, I heal people with food.
Cancer usually is hereditary.
It's not. They tell you it's hereditary, right? They tell you a lot of things are hereditary. It's not hereditary. The thing is, we grow up in a household that teaches us how to cook, right? If you change your eating habits and you don't eat the way you were taught, you can heal a lot of the problems you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't understand that. But
man, I got two dead parents like that though. My dad was a vegetarian most of his life and had cancer most of his life, actually. That's why he had one.
My dad too died of cancer as well. He had 5 different cancers.
At 15, I don't think he was that. I mean,
he was chilling.
He was an athlete. You know what I'm saying? My mom had cancer too. Both my parents passed away from complications stemming.
My mother had cancer too. My mother had breast cancer.
So, I mean, I agree with you that like letting things fester within you can definitely kill you.
It contributes to that. It contributes to, like, prime example. I was like, I told you guys off a set. Prime example, I was in a relationship. I became kidney failure stage 2 because I was so stressed out. I got very skinny. So I know these things from experience.
Right.
So
was this a relationship where you guys talked?
Yes. But the only better thing to do was to leave and figure and focus on me and like figure out my mental, because this space was unhealthy.
So when you presented to him the things to him that you disliked or made you unhappy and wanted to work on, like, what was his response?
Don't want to know.
He didn't care?
No, he did not care.
You didn't care for real? I really didn't know what his response was. Like legit. I'm curious. Like he shrugged it, like, oh,
I
word?
don't care.
That's insane.
That was his words. I don't care.